name is Stephanie Chizik. I'm editor-in-chief of CoatingsPro magazine. With us today is Paul Koury, CEO and president of Westcoat Specialty Coating Systems. Thank you so much for joining us today, Paul.
Hi, Stephanie. Thanks for having me. It's good to see you again.
You too. So we're here to talk about concrete. Let's start with, why do we coat concrete?
So concrete, you look at concrete as sometimes a walking surface or a structural element. And when you put it in, we sometimes just think it's going to be there forever. The truth is that concrete can be attacked, and usually that would be like chemicals. It could be various impact related elements, and it could be hot and cold. It could just, be abused. So we want to protect the concrete, and that's the most important part of, what the toppings would provide.
Okay, great. And I think one of the main products we want to discuss today is the TemperCrete urethane cement system. So can you just walk us through the difference between concrete and a urethane cement?
Yeah, so of course, concrete basically is, sand, cement, rock, and pretty well known. It's been around for a long time, and it's usually done for floors or structural elements in a building, bridges, of course. The urethane cement is some of that same concrete, if you will, sand, cement, aggregates, but also includes a polyurethane, which gives it chemical resistance, impact resistance, and great adhesion.
And what is the difference between the urethane cement and the traditional epoxy systems?
So epoxy systems are typically done at a credit card thickness. They can be applied a little thicker. So in a sense, they can be applied as thick as a urethane cement. The biggest difference, I would say, in a technical sense, is that the urethane cement has much more heat resistance, number one, because epoxy only takes heat up to about 140 degrees and starts softening, at least the traditional epoxy. The urethane cement can take a lot more heat, up to a couple hundred degrees, has much better adhesion to concrete. It breathes, which helps with vapor, and it also can handle more impact. So if you're going to drop something on the floor, it's less likely to damage the surface.
And are there any special tools that are needed to install that type of system?
So you would use the similar tools that you would use for epoxy coating: a gauge rake, trowels, roller covers, porcupine rollers, and that's pretty much it. The mixing tools are a little bit more involved because you're mixing a larger amount of material, and since you're putting a thicker layer, it's a lot more handling of material, and it has to be delivered quickly. But similar materials, similar tools to epoxy.
Okay, and then one of the things that you had also mentioned is that there's a good resistance towards, I think, thermal changes. So where is a good, what types of facilities need urethane cement products?
So anywhere they're going to have high impact one, and you just want something that's going to last a long time. I mean, if you look at an epoxy floor, if it's done right, most of them will last, 5, 10, maybe 15 years under, heavy abuse. With the urethane cement, you're looking at least good 10 or 20 years. So number one, I'd say for where you want it to last longer and more durable. The other key element would be where you have the moisture in either the ground or you have vapor coming through. The floor coating is going to breathe. Thirdly is the thermal shock. So if you were to be in a brewery or a kitchen where the floor is going to intermittently get hit with heat, or even a hot water blaster to clean it, this hot and cold isn't going to affect it like the hot and cold would affect other epoxies or other flooring products.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you wanted to mention today before we signed off?
No, it's a great product for breweries and wineries, and it's done a good job in commercial kitchens. Anywhere you're doing your food processing, or that you want a floor that's going to last a long time.
Awesome. Well, people can go check out westcoat.com if they'd like some more information. Again, this has been Paul Koury, CEO and president of Westcoat Specialty Coating Systems. I'm Stephanie Chizik from CoatingsPro magazine, and as always, happy coating.